and Solutions.
Radio Week.
Radio Week. 5 days of awards.
5 days of awards.
Inspirations and solutions.
Inspirations and Solutions.
Radio Week.
Hello to everyone. We are starting just 2 minutes late. Hello, Fiorenza. Hello, Margaret. How
Hello,
are you?
Philippe. Hello, everybody.
Starting just 2 minutes late. Yeah. Oh, there's a little echo. I think someone with some no headphones. Fiorenza, you don't have headphones, maybe?
No.
There's a little echo. Yeah. So there's an echo. If you do you think you can find headphones? Yeah. Okay. It's better to cut the microphone so that when you talk, you can put it on. It's much easier. So big program for today, Margaret, and maybe Fiorenza, you can present yourself also, because we talked about you yesterday to the professionals, but it would be interesting to know a little more about you. So Margaret, maybe the program first.
Absolutely. So we're ready to go. Today is Tuesday. Welcome, everybody. And today we've got a lot on the table. We've got 2 Red Tech talks. We have a keynote from Antonio Arciadiano. Is that correct, Philippe? Antonio, if I didn't pronounce your name.
Arciadiano.
He's the tech director of the EBU. And he's going to talk about technology innovations in 2001 and 2021, a couple of years later, and how the EBU is facilitating innovation throughout various broadcasters in Europe.
Yeah, exactly. So I show the program here that we have. So at 2 p.m. So it's in a few minutes where we'll start with Antonio Arciadiano. And then maybe then we go on with a Red Tech talk, virtualization, with Ben Poor, Philippe Generali, Gary Klein, and Jose Lurero. And then we'll go with a fireside chat. And maybe, Fiorenza, you can tell us a little what it will be. And by the way, present yourself as well.
Yes. Hi. I'm one of the co-founders of Red Tech Tribe. Unfortunately, I wasn't there yesterday, but here I am. Basically, it's I live in the Netherlands. I'm Italian. You can hear the accent. And what we are talking about, Sarah Jeromes and myself, is going to be about actually collaborative innovation. And there are several themes related to radio, of course, and all kinds of cooperation that could be very interesting. It's going to be a quick chat, but very intense.
Perfect. And then we will have evolution of remote broadcasting with DAC systems. And we will finish the day with Nitya David Systems webinar with the human side of tech. So I just remind how it works. We are changing streams all the time. So you can find every of the streams that is already planned on the Connect on Air program. Or you can watch directly on connectonair.com. The player is just streaming webinar after webinar on live, and then you can immediately after the webinar access to the video either on YouTube or on the program of Connect on Air. So maybe we'll go and listen to the EBU with some very interesting presentation with Antonio. All right, a little video, and we'll go directly with him.
Radio Week. 5 days of awards.
5 days of
Radio
awards.
Week. Inspirations and solutions.
5 days of awards.
Inspirations and solutions.
Inspirations and Solutions.
Radio Week.
Hello to everyone, and welcome again for this second day of the Radio Week. The afternoons are in English. And we are very happy to welcome Antonio Arciadiano from EBU. And Antonio, you're the Director of Technology and Innovation at EBU. So maybe you can present. Well, everyone knows the EBU. You're doing a lot of things regarding radio and television, and many more things as well. But maybe a small light presentation about EBU, and then we'll go immediately within the topic of the day, which is the technical challenges and opportunities for public radio, and what are they facing today, and how EBU is helping out. Antonio, welcome, and very happy to be with you.
Thank you very much, Philippe. Thank you very much, and good morning or good afternoon, everybody. This is the EBU, as you probably know, is the consortium of the public broadcasters in Europe and beyond. In fact, all the public broadcasters that exist in Europe are part of EBU, but we have public broadcasters also from the Mediterranean, from the Middle East, and even associates as far as the Japanese or the Australians or the Canadians. So if you want, in a very simple way, I may say that this is all the public broadcasters of the Northern Hemisphere that are together. We have many members in EBU, many more than 100 members. We reach more than 1 billion people every day with our radio and TV programs. And these are the Radio France, but also the France Télévisions, the RAI, or the BBC of this world, but also the small broadcasters like the Slovenians more than the Lithuanians or the Luxembourgish. So all this is part of EBU. And our goal is to help our members working together. We are about 400 people here in Geneva, and then with some offices in other parts of the world. And we are here to help our members work together and build together solutions for serving better their customers, their citizens, because this is public broadcasting, in the three main pillars of broadcasting. So this is inform, of course, educate, and entertain. This is the old BBC motto. That is what we have taken as our mission for since long time. This last year we celebrated, in a very special situation with this COVID crisis, the 70 years of the organization. But the technical part that I represent started much earlier, in fact, with radio. And our first technical meetings happened in 1925. And almost 100 years ago. And I have here with me the books that are reporting about the technical assemblies that were taken care at that time, happening at that time. And we are very proud of this long history, and very proud of what has been done in the field of standardization, in the field of launching new initiatives. EBU is known by the general public because of the Eurovision Song Contest, of course, often, but it should be also known because of the Euronews that was born here, or Eurosport that was born here, or for people that have a few more years, for the Jeux Sans Frontières. There was in the 70s, in the 80s, there was this and also in the 60s, a very famous happening for games, for entertainment. So that's EBU in the entertainment side, in the direct to consumer side. And then there is the technology part. We are part of many organizations, like we are founders of the World Hub group, of course, but we are also founders of DVD. We are founders of 5G Mag that I'm chairing. We are very active in SMPTE, within ITU, and so on. So that's EBU.
And you have also the .radio domain name, if I'm correct.
Absolutely. And we are active in the radio DNS and so on.
Yeah. So that's a very nice presentation, and I'd be very happy to look at that first document in 1924, because where did it take place?
Oh, they were taking. This organization is here because the ITU is here, 500 meters in Geneva from us. The basic idea started when the frequencies started to be assigned, that somebody had to take care of broadcasting. So it was not an organization as such at the beginning. It was a group that was meeting. And so for this reason, they were meeting in different places. But the focal point was already Geneva at the time because of the United Nations agency that was dedicated and is dedicated still today to the management of frequencies. And then with the evolution then 70 years ago, so in 1950, this became a real organization with a status but the technical assembly started much earlier, as it always happens. That's why we are technology and innovations. We are innovators by definition, and we innovated by launching this. And it's funny, I have pictures here in my office of the meetings in the late 20s, early 30s. You know, these are like pictures that look like the pictures where, you know, have Einstein, Niels Bohr, or other scientists. It's the same style. This group of people dressed with ties, with very formal, with birds, with a very traditional style, etc. And you could see that this was already the same style on their side. But these are the basement on which we have built all our things. And radio still is today a big success, and in big success for the public. And we are reinventing this every day. And then, for example, with podcast, you see that podcast now is growing, and is growing well in the young generation. So when we speak about television, I always say, let's look at what radio is doing, because they've gone through this before us in television, and we can learn from what they are doing there. So it's always interesting to do radio and television and learn from each other.
Yeah, and that's I see that you're passionate as many people that work in this industry, and that's why we love so much radio and digital audio and podcast industry. So very nice presentation and introduction of a lot of things that I even didn't know, and that I will look at it after, because we're also having an anniversary in France, which is the 100 years of FM in France, 1921. And the 40 years of the freedom of the frequency. So a lot of anniversary to celebrate in 2021. But let's go back to the challenges that you were talking about it. A lot of challenges are facing the public radio stations are facing. Maybe also a bit because of the podcast. There's a lot of things that now. A lot of podcasters are doing that were only public radio stations were doing before. So there's a lot of challenges. There's technical challenges, of course, that we're going to talk about. But there's really a trend now, and I think the crisis developed even more. So my first question to you is regarding the answer to the COVID crisis. What did you do? And I mean, the stations went into remote. It was at the start in March. It was hard because they were not really ready. How did you work with all your members, and what is happening now?
Yeah. So this was, of course, it came almost by surprise with the first cases in Italy, and then progressively in all the other countries in Europe. And we immediately reacted, and we immediately started working with our members, first of all, to exchange experiences. I mean, we started from the very basic exchange of information about how do you manage studios to clean them up, so to limit the contagion that could happen there. And this is the very basic thing that we started with. But then, of course, all the parts dealing with the remote contribution and production, which was really what overnight was changed and became the new rule for production. So this worked very well, and this worked in such a way that the different members exchanged information, and we acted as a platform, and we were having on a weekly basis, even on a daily basis at the very beginning, really sessions with round tables where people were asking, saying, I have this problem, what can you do to help me with this problem? And so in this dialogue, this made us accelerate the level of solutions that were made available. Of course, there were hiccups, there were little promise. But what is also very important is that because of the quality of what the public broadcasters were able to deliver, and the quality in terms of content that they were delivering, the trust that they had, we had a fantastic growth in terms of audience. And many people reverted back to broadcasting for radio, for television, to look for the truth. I mean, the more reliable information. And this is still valid today. And this has been happening all across for online services, for live streaming services, for over-the-air services. And this is a trend. And speaking about podcasts, of course, many people are doing podcasts today. But when you look at the quality of the podcasts that are produced by the public broadcasters, this is really, really impressive. And I always like to make the example of Radio France, because I was living 200 meters away from Radio France for many years. So I know Radio France very well. I finally be able to go back there to listen to concerts, etc. So it's one of my places that I like a lot in Paris to go to. But Radio France, when you look at the quality of the podcast of Radio France, there is no comparison with any other podcast that you can find in the French-speaking market, and likewise for BBC, for RAI, etc. So, as always, what matters is the content that you have, but as always, it's also important that you are able to reach your customers, your citizens, and this is another element that is fundamental. I mean, as we used to say, content is king, but the distribution is queen. So you need to have both of them, and you need to be able to reach people to deliver the right content there and be listened to.
So talking about distribution, we see now more and more everyone talks about 5G and what is possible to do. So first of all, 5G is a key point in a crisis situation when it's available, because we can say that it's maybe not always the case. I mean, the mobile system can go down if there's a big crisis, but when there's a sanitary crisis like the COVID, 5G can be really something that makes remote control more valuable and more. When we prepared the show, you said that 5G will make so that the way that we are broadcasting now from home will go on, will be for sure. Yeah, that's something, and as always, the crises are accelerators of what's going on. And 5G is a constellation of standards, I would say, and a constellation of solutions. 5G for media is very important, and it is for this reason that I created last year in 2000, in fact 2 years ago now, because we are in 2021, but in 2019 I created the 5G Media Action Group, which is a group of companies that we have more than 40 already today that are working together to see how to best use the 5G for the media industry. So on one side, 5G is very important on the production side, and for example, for radio, this is very important because you can produce from your home, you can produce from the street, you can produce from, and with the 5G, when the slicing and the guaranteed SLA will work, is not yet the case. I mean, it's still work in progress, but when this will work, you will see this will be a revolution in the way in which we are producing, both for audio, for sure, bandwidth is narrow, so it's the obvious thing, but also for video and for plenty of other applications, even in health applications, etc. So in the 5G MAG, as it is called, this group, we have a dedicated subgroup that is dealing with the production part, and this will be quite a revolution. In reality, when you have one of these phones, today we are distinguishing between professional and non-professional applications. The more you go, the more the availability of this connectivity and the availability of services that can guarantee bandwidth will make an expansion in terms of who can do what. So I can predict an evolution there in this respect. So this is for production Yeah.
and contribution. Then there is the distribution part. And in the distribution part, the picture is more complex, because what the 5G so far has been pushed for is for broadband access, and mainly in the city areas.
Mm-hmm.
For many reasons, but the main one is that you need to deploy a lot of base stations to deliver enough capacity to the end users and stay with the promises of 5G. So, and when you look at what has happened with 4G, for example, in the last 10 years, and you look at countries like UK, which is not a country under development, it's quite developed country, today only 53% of the roads in UK are covered by 4G. So if you had only a system that would be based on online connectivity, you could lose your radio connectivity at a certain point because of this. So I always plead for a multi-layer, a multi-support solution in which we combine the linear broadcasting or non-linear broadcasting, but let's say the one-to-many solution with the one which is one-to-one in a unicast system, and these, so in an hybrid solution, and with a multi-layer solution, taking for granted that you will use the cellular network, the terrestrial transmitters, and the satellite to be an overlay covering everything. When you compare, for example, in internet penetration, the numbers of penetration between radio, which is in the order of 90% worldwide, and with the penetration of internet, which is a little bit north of 50% on a worldwide basis, you see already the difference. And it's not by chance that when you want to operate, for example, emergency services, you use always a radio infrastructure. So 5G is promising a lot. We are working a lot in this, and we are working together with 3GPP, for example, for the distribution. Release 16 has been released. We are working on release 17 and so on. But the end game will be a game in which you will have multiple supports, and this is good for reliability, this is good for security, and this is something that during the COVID crisis we also have been heralding and stimulating. We said, for example, because many people were out of the sudden using video conferencing, there could be a congestion in the network. Mm. So we said, if you have to select when you want to receive, for example, a broadcast channel, and you have access to the broadcast channel, listen from the broadcast channel, so you can free your capacity on the unicast internet. So as always, the law of physics should be used where they work best.
Yeah, so then it's a great transition to 5G is mobility, and mobility is car, and car is really getting more and more connected with capacities which can be FM, DAB+, HD radio, and any other signal that you can receive in your car. And so now we're talking in the car. We're talking to the car, and all that is audio. So can you tell us a little about? I mean, you told me that before we were talking a lot about smart speakers that we have home, but now it's more and more into getting into the car and having the car smart, and I guess radio DNS, hybrid radio as we call it, so that the data are gathering well in the internet environment is a key. And radio player that has been launched in new countries, and France is one of them, and will normally start in April, is really an answer. And you're really, I mean, inside of that development and technologies.
Yeah, I mean, we are very active there, and cars are part of our daily life. And if you say, as you said, I mean, the hype experience of the smart speakers have helped us learning how to deal with voice-activated services, etc., which is what is very useful in the car, because you should be as little distracted from you driving until we will have the automatic driving that will probably change again the experience altogether, because then out of the sudden you will also be able to watch a film or whatever. So this is another chapter there. But if
it comes fast. It comes faster and faster.
It comes fast, and I mean the core of this for me is the car. And I tried already 10 years ago to speaking with the car manufacturers to explain them that the car was becoming the living room and a place where you would provide services more than an engine with 4 wheels. But I can promise you, 10 years ago, they were not really listening that much when I was saying this. Now, courtesy of Elon Musk, I would say, what has happened is that the car is a software piece of machine that runs several services and applications.
With a huge screen.
With a huge screen, and occasionally you have an engine and some wheels. And then it's not by chance that, for example, Volkswagen last year has been hiring 5,000 software developers. I mean, it's you see the big shift, and they had trains going up and down between Berlin and Wolfsburg to bring in programmers to Volkswagen Audi because they needed this kind of development. So that's the real big revolution that is happening now. I would say more than the fact that it's electrical or not electrical. It's a new world. Now, the moment you have this, and the moment that the trend is that, so we have been very active with radio DNS, with radio, with the radio player and so on. But the moment now, de facto, what is happening is that Android for cars is becoming the lead operating system. I mean, this could, on one side, seem limiting the choices. And of course, Apple is pushing, and Hyundai is also pushing, and then we'll see. I mean, there's always good thing in people competing in this respect. I will never say the contrary. But at the same time, if the number of operating system is relatively manageable, then the number of developers grows enormously. And so the number of applications that you can run on this is growing. So I expect this to be a market that will become very, very active in terms of services. And that's where we are going to be. And in the car, what I expect is that you will have a sort of gateway that will at the same time be connected to the broadcasting part, this being terrestrial or even satellite, and to the unicast part with a multi-standard modem. And this intelligent gateway, maybe with some software for recommendation and personalization, will be running for you the show. So when you will enter in your car, the car will recognize you and maybe will also understand what's your mood that day and start playing what you like more, maybe 5 minutes of news, then music and so on. So that's something interesting, and that's something that we are actively working on. And my colleague Ben Poor, that is in the World DAB board, is the one active there, and also my colleague Paula Suna, who is working on NGA, on next generation audio, is working on the other part, which is the immersive experience that it goes with audio and sound.
So that's also something for the car, but that's also something for the game, for all the audio environment, to be able to have the best experience for the listener, and also in terms of creation and production, because it's not the same way to produce the audio. So you're also working into this immersive sound process, and how is it going? And then I think we have to go on to our Red Tech Award that will follow after our talk.
Yeah. So the immersive experience is something developing a lot. We have been very active in creating this standard for rendering the next generation audio and this object-oriented production. So this is now a standard that has been approved at the ITU level, and is being adopted more and more by people. What is interesting is that the fruition of immersive audio is improving every day. So on the binaural, the obvious one, the cheapest one, but you have also the sound bars, and the sound bars are becoming very professional, without mentioning names of vendors, but there are now sound bars that can really create the ambiance of a cathedral in your living room, and you can really profit from this. And in the car also, our colleagues from Audi have been experiencing a lot in this field of immersive audio. Now, if I take this and I make a comparison with what happened with the digital cinema, it's the moment when you have the player, the interface between the artificial world, so the digital world, and the analog one, so either listening or watching, and the equipment start being made available, that the market takes off. So it's not yet the case, but the tools being there and the technology in terms of end devices being there and performant, I expect that this soon will become also another possibility of fruition for the best advantage of all the customers and the listeners to the different services that we provide.
Well, that's thrilling for the future. A lot is to come, and it's true that we're in an environment where everything now is really gathering, broadcasting and IP world, and you're in a really good place to help all the radio stations. And the last maybe question that I will ask you: see, if you had a message to pass to all the radio stations, whether they're private, non-profit or public, because you're mainly working with public radios. I don't know if you have a lot of links with private radios as well, if they're welcome, how you work, but what would be the message to all the people that are working in radio stations today?
I mean, the message is by working together in the technology and innovation, we are able to provide to the audience what they don't know they will like. So let's be creative and let's work together. I am in favor of collaboration between public and private as much as we can, because it is by delivering interesting services that the end users will be listening to us, will be watching the TV programs and so on. So it is fundamental that we work together. And this is the reason why, of course, EBU is the consortium of public broadcasters, but all these organizations like DVB, like SMPT, like 5G Mag, like all these are open to all the community. And in technology and innovation, there is no color. I mean, fortunately, in engineering, 2 + 2 makes always 4. So that's what it's very nice for us to develop. And we are, as public broadcasters, paid with public money. So we should set the reference high, and should set the reference high in such a way that we are able to create new products and to serve the market with this. So I'm not at all scared to be in a competitive market, but I'm always, on the contrary, looking for something new and something appealing that the people will like.
And you're doing that very well. And I think the broadcasters, whether the radio, TV, are always very happy to be part of the EBU and to follow all you're doing during all the trade shows as well, usually at the IBC and in other shows, to see all the new trends that are coming out. Well, thank you very much. It was really, really interesting. And our column on redtechtribe.com are always open for you if you have some great information to share, as you did today. Of course, this video will be published on redtechtribe.com after this live. Antonio, hopefully we'll meet some days in some events, and we keep in touch. And thank you very much for all those great visions and the great work you've been doing at the EBU.
Thank you very much, Philippe. Thank you very much, and I hope really to see you soon in person. This will mean also that we have been going beyond the COVID crisis, which is what is limiting our freedom of movement, and hopefully soon this will be over. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good end of day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Radio Week 5 days of awards.
5 days of awards.
Inspirations and solutions.
Inspirations and solutions.
Radio Week.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to put my mic on.
Oh no.
We were wondering. I mean, what did you say?
I was
We're good
talking
at-
like that.
we're
and you
good
were
at
not
reading
both
lips.
listening.
Well.
Okay, I was saying very interesting session with Antonio, and we
Yes.
he's a great. He had a big experience, and that's what I was saying when you were not listening to me because I didn't have my microphone on. A great experience and very interesting. I guess we'll share some more things with him on redtechtribe.com. Margaret, maybe some just few things about what he just said.
Yeah, I think he passed a really important message on the importance of collaboration and creativity in order to drive tech forward. I think that's a key, and that's really great that he's emphasizing that.
Fiorenza, just a word about what you heard.
Well, yes, I was impressed because it covered several applications being affected and influenced by the come of 5G, both in audio and in video. And I loved his quote, which we are going to use. In collaboration, there are no colors. And I love it. So it says it all.
That's a great transition to a color that we're going to show for the first Red Tech, the second day, so the third
Absolutely.
Red Tech Award. Maybe Margaret, just a word.
Sure. So like I said yesterday, we're giving out, we have two categories of awards. The first one is the Red Tech Top Product Award, for which we're giving out we're honoring 6 companies. And then we also have the Red Tech Tribe Choice Award, where we're going to give out 5 trophies. And these are all for products, innovative products. And I want to just say one more thing, that the Choice Award is based on our tribe name, and which again, we will explain later on. But so we have, it's trustworthy, was yesterday. Today, it's going to be a reliable product. Tomorrow, innovative. Thursday, borderless. And Friday, ergonomic. So
right.
now I'm going to pass it to Fiorenza to announce the next award.
Yes. And the winner is...
And that's Worldcast Systems APT MPX.
That's right. Congratulations, Worldcast APTX MPX. The Worldcast ABT MPX is an MPX composite algorithm that provides signal compression to save network bandwidth without deconstructing the original composite signal. Basically, it's designed to help FM broadcasters save on equipment purchase and maintenance at transmission sites, and also allows them to employ 2 services per network instead of just 1 service. Congratulations again, Worldcast.
All right, that's fine. So what's the program next? Because now it's already time for a new webinar.
All right, so do we need to change streams here, maybe?
Yes, exactly, and that's what I was going to announce to everyone. We're going to be live on another stream, so just go into the program of connectonair.com or just on YouTube channels. You'll see the live that is coming. We just changing live, and we see you soon to the next one. And have a nice end of evening if you leaving us. Thank you.
Radio Week 5 days of awards.
5 days of awards.
Inspiration.